Yeah.
Heartily welcome to all distinguished personalities and speaker of today's program, Dr. Raju Rathod, to today's Learning and Sharing program. I am Ambia Pradhan and I'm going to coordinate this program today. We are here at 37th Learning and Sharing program of NQPCN, Network for Quality, Productivity and Competitiveness, Nepal. NQPCN is a non-profit organization with membership of entrepreneurs, managers, academicians, and consultants of Nepal, which was established in 2004 with the motto to enhance competitiveness through sharing, learning, and applying globally developed quality and productivity tools and techniques for social and economic development of nations. Learning and sharing is a continual program of NQPCN. Since its establishment, this learning and sharing program is in its second phase program since 2018. Learning and sharing is a program of exchanging of knowledge and understandability, which helps individuals to be more agile and acceptable in the face of change. This time we have distinguished personality, Professor Dr. Raju M. Rathod from Institute of Business Management, Sardar Patel University, Gujarat, India. Talking about Professor Raju, he is professor at MBA Department, Sardar Patel University, Vallabh Vidyanagar, India. Professor Raju has more than 20 years teaching experience at PG levels. He is national trainer at Junior Chamber International and certified trainer of National Skill Development Council, Government of India. Professor Raju has done FDP from IIM Ahmedabad. He is MBA gold medalist and UGC NET qualified project. He has written 5 books and 55 research articles in national and international journals. He has conducted more than 200 training programs. He is associated with JASIS, Lions Club, and India Society for Training and Development. I would like to request Professor Raju for his presentation. Over to you, Dr. Raju.
Can you make co-host? Okay.
So okay. Thank you. So Vijay, should I share my screen?
Yes, Raju.
Disable participant. Okay. Yeah, let her make me co-host. I think she is doing that.
I've already made you co-host.
Yeah, let us check. Yeah. Is it visible, Vijay?
Yes. Good.
Full screen is visible, né?
Yeah. Full. Yeah, it is coming full screen.
Yeah. Thank you. So thank you for inviting me from Network for Quality and Productivity and Competitiveness, Nepal. Let me tell you on the outset that every year we got a good number of students from Nepal at our own institutes. There was a time we had more than 10 students every year from Nepal. So we are quite familiar with the Nepali students. So every year we have a number of students from Nepal on our campus at Sardar Patel University. Every one of you must be knowing Amul as a brand, right? Amul, the test of India. So Amul is from our place. So it is called Anand district, the place where Amul as a cooperative started and white revolution and everything was started. So dairy industry, we are pioneer at our place, and from Anand, we contributed and replicate the Amul model at many countries, including Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and then in some of the other developed countries also, like Canada and Netherlands and everywhere. So it is a nice platform. At least we can interact with the neighboring countries and share our knowledge and all. Vijay and me were the co-participants at FDP in 2009, so it is almost 11 years back. And then today we again meeting on the different platform. So today's topic is basically service quality in the era of experiential economy. So this particular session will be more interactive to break some of the language barrier also, and to provoke the thought process also. So who contribute more at the end of the life? Businessman, industrialist, entrepreneur, politician, economist, academician, scientist, inventor, innovator, administrators, managers, professional practitioners, philosophers, artists, or common man. So who contribute more to the society, to the country, or to the world at a large? So what is your opinion? You can write in your chat box also, so Vijay can help me because I could not join through mobile phone. So at least take a stand. If it is even in your mind, if you assume your answer, that is also fine. And you can on your mic also, and you can speak also if you feel so. Any answer? Who contribute more? Can we ask to this young lady? She nicely introduced myself. So what do you think? Do you understand the question?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. Who contribute more at the end of a life? Because there are many professions in the society, right? Doctors, lawyer, scientists, professors. So who will contribute more?
I think that academician would contribute more.
Okay. Why?
Because they have done so many things in their lives, many contributions and all.
Fine.
It works.
Fine. So Google, right? One of the most powerful corporation of the world. They say the Larry Page, the CEO of Google. What he said? He said, always deliver more than expected. That is what the prime principle of quality also, right? Like when you deliver more than what is expected by the customers, the quality is perceived more, right? So do you agree for this? Nothing ever become real till it is experienced, right? Nothing ever become real till it is experienced. So I think somebody's yeah, thank you, Asmita Krishna. Okay, so experience is also very important when we think about a quality, right? Like whenever we discuss regarding quality, experience is also very important, because when we say virtual reality, now virtual reality is an oxymoron, because a virtual cannot be reality and reality cannot be virtual, right? So it is an artificial experience, but then experience is important. Do you believe in this? The very purpose of a life is to experience life in a fullest depth and dimension. Like if we remove the experiences, our experiences out of our life, then our life is not life. No, however or how long you may live, like your schooling, right? The school you attended during your childhood, your memories with your parents, your memories regarding your childhood, right? If you remove all such things from your life, then life is dead, right? So experiences are very, very important. So the answer itself is wrong, right? Like, and the question is itself wrong, right? Who contribute more at the end of a life? Because most of the time, see, we do not choose our destiny, right? Like somebody become academician because of some reason, like somebody thought to become academician and then become academician, and at the end of a life, he or she may thought I contributed more, right, compared to the others. But if you ask the others, then they may not endorse that, or they may not agree for that, right? So naturally, if I'm academician, I will say I contribute more. If you are doctor, then you say I contribute more. You are scientist, then you say scientists contribute more. So I think the question itself is unfair, right? So, but the answer is fair. The answer is those who can generate and deliver memorable experience for others, being a doctor or a academician or a politician or an administrator or a scientist, will contribute more at the end of a life. Am I right or wrong? So whomsoever you are, right, you may be student, but then are you a favorite students of your teacher, right? Like, you experience good, but then are your teachers experience you as a good students? So that is also very important. So how you are contributing as an individual in a whichever situation, right, giving the good experience for others or not. Like in a life, you see certain people you like to meet, but certain people you don't like to meet. Certain places you like to go again and again, but certain places you don't like to go again and again, because of the pleasant experience or unpleasant experience, right? So the golden rule in a service marketing is don't deliver a product, deliver an experiences. So nowadays, even in a physical products also, you know, the experiences are very important. And services, so there is no option, because services are not visible. Services are abstract in a nature. So in any way, you have to generate the experiences. So we are not selling even the physical products nowadays, right? We have to sell the experiences. So what are the types of economy adopted by different countries? Can anybody tell me what are the different types of economy adopted by different countries? If somebody is from commerce or management background or economic background, they will be able to answer different types of economy. Yeah, even you can write in your chat box also, and Vijay can help me. Anybody? Yeah, what are the different types of economy? So any answer? What are the different types of economy? Any answer? In India is a mixed economy, right? In India, we say India is a mixed economy. So likewise, you also must have idea different kind of economy. So it is a it's a capitalist economy, right? So we say capitalism, and then socialist economy, right?
Yeah, Kishore sir has answered.
What is the answer?
Yeah, in the chat box.
Yeah, here I could not see the chat box. So can you
Our Kishore Bhakta Madhyama sir has
That is
answered that some
capitalism.
adopt
Now,
liberalism
yeah,
and some for liberal and open.
extreme communism and open capitalism and mixed economy like Nepal and okay. So socialism is social adopted control somewhere. Okay, very good. Yeah. So, but today we are talking about some different classification of economy, and that is different than what we learn and heard about the economy. So types of economy from a service perspective. So there are three kinds of economy. One economy is called a regulating economy, right? So there are economy which try to regulate the people, right? Say for example, India was ruled by Britishers for more than 200 years. So during that 200 years, what kind of economy they follow? Regulating the people. So in regulating the people, you try to control the people, right? Every time you make a rules and regulation, do's and don'ts, and enact many legislations and law, right, to control the people, or what we call protectionist approach, right? You want to protect uh, your monopoly, and you try to regulate the people. So that is called a regulating economy. The second category of economy is called a service economy, right? So service economy, where the government will not try to regulate the people and regulate the administrations and everything, but then they try to serve the people, right? So there is a service orientation in your perspective, right, in your attitude. So you are there, whatever you are doing, whether you are academician or a scientist or a politician or a manager, you are not trying to control the people and regulate the people. You try to serve the society, you try to serve your country, right? That is called a service economy. And most of the countries, particularly the developed countries, are moving from regulating economy to a service economy. And that's why ease of a business is one of the indicators, right? Ease of a business is one of the index people used to count. So you could see that in a developed countries, the ease of a business, right, the barrier and the roadblocks in starting the business and running the business are less in the developed countries. Why? Because it is service economy. You pay the tax and you get the best possible services, like say social security services for the senior citizens, right? You found more in the developed countries. Why? Because it is a service economy. If you could see the police service or a helpline service, right, you find more quality in their services because they are running in a service economy. Now most of the countries now depend on the services, right, for their GDP. As somebody was asking me about our GDP, right, the growth rate. Now even if you see India, then our 60% contribution coming from the service economy, right, or from the service sectors in our GDP. And in Nepal also the share of the service sectors would be more among the total gross domestic production. And the third categories of a service economy after is an experiential economy, is actually a dream of even the developed countries, right, which we call an experiential economy, where you want to provide the best possible experience to your citizens, to your students, to your customers, to your citizen of the country, right, where you generate a lifelong long lasting memorable experiences. You want to create the best possible air in the society and the environment for the society, relationship in the society, right? So the quality of life will improve, and that's why human development indexes become very, very important, which focus on your education, your health, sustainable development, right? So human development is very, very important nowadays, and that is possible only in a experiential economy, right? And that's why when you visit any government owned and managed organization and any private organization, then you feel a difference, right? You visit any Asian developing countries, or you visit any developed countries in Europe and America, you feel the difference, right? Your experience would be different. The moment you landed on China and the moment you landed on America, there is a difference, right? There is a difference. Why? Because they focus on experiences. What kind of experiences you deliver to your customers, right? It become very important. what is the difference between farmers and restaurant owner? Do you find any difference? The farmers and restaurant owner, both are earning money, both are doing and hardworking, right? But what is the difference between these two professions? One profession is farming, you are cultivating some crops in the field, and the restaurant is altogether a different kind of economic activity. Yeah, any answer? Anyone want to speak for this? What is the difference between these two?
The restaurant owner adds value to the crop what is produced by farmer. So adding value.
Yeah, adding the value, but then there is no any hardcore value. They just transform the value. They will not add the value. They transform the value, right?
He plays important role in the value stream.
Okay, they have an important role in the value chain. Okay, yeah, that's true. So who earn more profit, farmers or restaurant owner?
I think the restaurant owners.
Okay, but then who is doing more hard work?
Farmer.
Farmer or
Obviously physically by farmer,
yeah.
but
And,
the restaurant generates more profit than the farmer.
yeah, and who bear more risk? Farmer take more risk or the restaurant person take more risk?
Restaurant owner.
They take more risk.
Right.
Okay. And who face quality problem? Like who need to manage quality? Farmers or restaurant owner?
The restaurant owner.
Yeah, they are more concerned with quality. Because a farmer deal with a commodity, right?
So ultimately, the food, what is in the table, the consumers.
Yeah. So you could see here, right? The product service continuum. Nowadays, earlier we used to have a clear difference between physical products and services, right? But that is a traditional and old, outdated perspective of a services. The fresh perspective of a services, it is continuum. There is nothing like a physical products and services, right? The fresh perspective says more of a service element and less of a physical element, or a more of a physical element and less of a service element. Service matlab tangible elements. So more tangible elements, less intangible elements, or more intangible elements and less tangible elements. So there is nothing like a service and physical products, because in all physical products also you require to generate experience, and you have to provide the service quality, and in a pure services also you have to talk about the quality. Say for example sugar, right? Sugar is a pure tangible goods, right? On other hand, education is a pure services. But to provide a education, you need to have a benches, you need to have a camera, nowadays online education and everything. You need to have a computer, you need to have a hard copy books, you need to have a projector, you need to have a blackboard or a whiteboard or a green board or a smart board nowadays, right? So to impart the education also you required some tangible infrastructure, right? And to provide a sugar, you also require a packaging, you require to focus on the color of the sugar, right? And the experience. Like it would be more clear when you see this. See, how can be a sugar as an experience? So sugar is a sugar, what experience you can do. But here you could see, this is a sugar, a pure and hygienic sugar brand, a Madhur. This is an Indian sugar brand, right? You might have seen in Nepal, or maybe in Nepal also you may have your own brand of sugar, right? Now sugar is a sugar, how you can generate the experience, but then you are adding a concept and idea that it is pure and hygienic sugar, right? So now what is hygienic and what is pure, which is a subjective idea, abstraction, right? Right or wrong? So it is intangible things. Your definition of what is pure and what is hygienic. So you are creating experience. So when you eat madhur, you feel that you are consuming the pure and hygienic sugar, right? So you have to sell idea, like sugar with idea, and that's why sugar is also services. Same continue if you could see a pure commodity and pure services. For instance, salt, soft drink, radio, new car, fast food, doctor's advice, certificates, running accounts, public conveyance, and local inquiry desk. In a local inquiry desk, you require more service element. And to sell a salt, it is a pure tangible goods. So we say salt is a physical goods, right? But local inquiry desk or a help desk is a services, or education is a services, counseling is a services, coaching is a services, training is a services, consultancy is a services. But to provide the consultancy, you require a physical goods or a physical infrastructure. And to sell the salt, you need to, generate the ideas or can talk at a intangible level. So here we have a Tata salt. So we say Desh ka namak, Tata salt, right? So you add the nationalism concept with the sugar. Like if you eat Tata sugar, it means you are nationalist. So you are giving that intangible idea to sell the sugar, right? So today everything is services. Why? Because it is sell through the idea of experience. What kind of experience you are generating, whether in a physical goods as well as in a pure service. So on the basis of encounter ranges also low contact and high contact service. So in a high contact services, you require more interaction with the people. So you required more people, right? The face-to-face communication. But nowadays, because of the online and e-commerce and everything, the face-to-face communication is less. So what is your definition of service quality? When I asked this question, BJ said there is no one definition of quality, right? Because quality, in which perspective you are using or in which context you are talking quality. So context change, the definition of quality also change, right? But then also let me ask, like, if anybody want to answer, like, what is your definition of service quality? Any answer? Which service you say it's a qualitative service? Say for example, your forum, right, is organizing such kind of sessions, sharing sessions. So how can you say it is a qualitative service, or you maintain the service quality? Right? Because at the end of the day, you have to measure the quality, whether you are delivering a qualitative service or not. So you have to evaluate the quality of your service. Right? So when we are talking about service quality in an experiential economy, we have to understand what is experiential economy and how it is connected with the concept of a service quality. See, these are four different perspectives of a service quality. One is a transcendent perspective of a service quality, where quality is equal to excellence. So recognized only through experiences, right? Recognized only through experience. When you say you go to watch any movie, so whether somebody asks you whether that movie is good or not, or what is the quality of a movie, so you could say only when you watch the movie and when you experienced it, right? Without watching that movie, how can you say anything regarding a quality of service? If somebody asks you what was the quality of a session delivered by Dr. Raju Rathod, then how can you say anything regarding quality? You can say only when you attended that session or heard about that session. So that is a transcendent perspective of quality. Another is a manufacturing based quality. Quality is a confirmation to the firm's developed specification. So you develop a specification. I remember there was a one non-lecture method session at our FDP, and BJ made us play one game in which you have to pass the ball and you have to put in a bucket. So the class was divided into some group, right? And then that group do some teamwork, like they pass the ball and then how many cycle of a ball you pass, and then how many ball you can actually throw in the bucket. So the group which throw the maximum number of ball in the bucket, right, will win the game, right? So that is what it confirm, and there is a confirmation with the benchmark that okay, say if 5 minutes is given, then in 5 minutes if you could break the record, like in 5 minutes you could do it 20 times, then you are reaching at the highest, right, at your maximum potential. So that is called a manufacturing based quality, where many statistical quality control charts and graphs and everything used. And then user based quality concept, that is quality lies in the eyes of the beholder, right? Like we may think that we are best, but then whether your recipient and beneficiary or the customers think so or not, I may thought my lecture was best, but then whether the listener endorse it or not, so they have their own perspective of quality. So that is purely a subjective and psychological perspective of quality, right? Quality as in considered by your customer, right? And the third one is a value based quality. Quality is a trade off between price and value. So how much value you get, so value for money. So if I pay 200 rupees or 500 rupees for some product, then whether I am getting that benefit or not. Apple is also available in the market, Samsung is also available in the market, but Samsung may, with the same function available in 25,000, and Apple may cost you 2 lakh rupees, right? So naturally from Apple you want more value because you are paying more. So quality in terms of the value you got and the cost you paid, right? So that is also the value based concept of quality. Have you experienced it? How many of you experienced this roller coaster, right? Is there any such kind of amusement park in Nepal, Vijay? Like we have a SL World, or we have such kind of amusement park in America and in some of the countries you have more, right?
Not exactly that, but similar to that there is.
Yes. And see, when we decided and went to have a ride like this, then before going to the ride, we must thought twice whether to go or not, right? And the butterfly may start in your stomach, right? And you may sweat before going to sit in the ride. Why? Because you are going to have a very strange experiences. You probably, many of you may have experienced this also, right? Paragliding. And in Nepal though, like it must be very famous in some of the places, right? Now but then when you reach to the hill from where you have to downfall, right? Then at that peak, actually it generates a lot of fear in your mind, right? At some point of time you gave up that I don't want to go, because it is a new experience, it's an adventurous experience, right? So a lot of perceived risk you found, like whether I could do it or not, or what happen if parachute will not open, right? A lot of possibilities of a physical injuries also, right? And if there will be a wind and you will go to some other place, then what happens, right? You probably may fall into Pakistan, then what happens? Right? So there is a lot of perceived risk also. This is also a very famous sports, right? River rafting at some of the areas in Nepal also and in India also. So it also gives you different kind of experiences, right? Particularly when there is a deep. So when there is a deep, for a moment you see the death on your way, like you experience that you are going to die, and then again, you get a life. So there is a concept called a moment of truth in the service marketing. What a Richard Norman says, we could say that the perceived quality is realized at the moment of truth. When the service provider and the service customers confront one another in the arena, at that moment, very much on their own, it is the skill, the motivation, right? And the tools employed by the firm's representative and the expectation and behavior of the client, which together will create the service delivery process, right? So the moment of truth, like, see, I am delivering this sessions, and it will be around 60 to 70 minutes, right? As time is given to me. And now in this 60 to 70 minutes, you could remember only few points, which actually touch you, or which actually you found something new, which you actually find insightful. You may not remember all the points, right? But you remember 2 or 3 points where your moment of truth is evoked, right? When we watch any movie, we may not remember all the scene and all the storyline, but we may remember few things, right? Few things. If I could ask you that, which are the moment of truth in your life? So you may say, when I get married, or you may say, when I went to school, my first day of my school, or you may say, my first school day of a college, or you may say my first day of my job, or a first day on which I got a salary. Vijay, you remember the day on which you get the salary, your first salary?
Yes, of course.
First salary. So most of the time, these are the moments which is memorable, right? And that is called a moment of truth. And in a service marketing, the quality concerned with, or quality related with, how many moments of truth you can create for your customers, right? So if you create more number of moments of truth for your customers, the quality is perceived to be more. So service quality is equal to moment of truth experience, right? And particularly when we are moving from regulating economy to service economy to experiential economy. Because in an experiential economy, what we are supposed to do, we have to generate more moment of truth for the customers, where they feel, experience, and pleasant experience, right? Pleasurable experience, happy experience. And that's why happiness index also nowadays become very, very important, right? So what was the happiest moment of your life? Can anybody share what was the happiest moment of your life? If you could not remember this, then I think, like, I doubt whether you are living or not. My happiest moment in the life, when I got the first rank in the school in the 12th standard. So I didn't expect it, and then I was going to collect my mark sheet, and then one of my friend shared that you got the first rank in our school. So I didn't believe, and then when I went and actually got the mark sheet, and my teacher, appreciate me, then I realized, okay, that is reality. And then that was the happiest moment of my life on that day, right? So likewise, you also must have some happiest moment in the life. Yes, at least anyone can share. We have here who, Kishore, Bhakta.
The day
Yeah.
I passed the school exam,
Okay.
that was the ecstatic moment for me.
Exam is always terrific, and create lot of terror in the mind. And when you complete your exams, that is the happiest day, right? Like, today I complete the exam. So in any given services, when we can think that, okay, what are the probable moments of truth or the happy moments we can create for our customer, then I think the process start, right? To to generate the experiential economy. So would you like to buy e-vehicle? This is electrical vehicle, right? Yes or no? If yes, then why? And if no, then why? Any answer?
No,
Let us, yeah,
no, because of the perceived threat.
perceived threat.
The battery quality, that
Yeah,
the chunk of money, and
okay.
B, the service station, the charging station.
Charging stations.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
The unpredictability during the journey,
Mhm.
all the perceived threat, and
Yeah.
that drives towards going for the either the
Mhm.
fossil fuel driven vehicle. Yeah.
Okay. One of the reason maybe we would like to wait, like initially the price would be very high, so we thought we will buy when the price will reduce,
Yes.
right? But then price will reduce when everyone buy, when it reaches to economies of scale, then only the price will reduce. But yeah, in terms of the technology development and everything, once it is fully developed, then the price, the per car price will reduce. Would you like to go for a tour in the space? So space tour in the space, yes or no? Recently, the honor of Virgin and the Elon Musk, right? They did or made it, like they go to space, and that was for few seconds only, not for many more hours, right? But for few seconds and minutes, and then they come back, and then they want to commercially develop, right? Commercially develop the space tourism, where you go to the zero gravitation force, and then you experience the zero gravitation force in the space. Recently, I was watching one web series on a Netflix called Lost in the Space. So in the web series, they try to find out another space which is more safe and pollution free, and that's why there are multiple space in multiple other planets in the world and in the universe, and then they lost in one of the unknown planet, and then face lot of difficulties in the planet, right? So space tourism is also a kind of a services developed. But then in all such things, what happens, there are perceived risk, as sir said, threats, right? So in a services also there are perceived risk, like you have a functional perceived risk, financial perceived risk, temporal perceived risk, physical perceived risk, psychological perceived risk, social perceived risk, and sensory perceived risk. So functional perceived risk is unsatisfactory performance, as sir said, in case of a car, electrical car, whether it will perform or not, right? Whether it will give a mileage or not. Then financial loss, like initially it could be very costly, and the charges would be very high. Temporal, like waste of time, delay, and leading in a problem. So if the service station would be less, then you need to wait for charging the cars and everything. Physical, like personal injuries and damages to the possession, that could also be there, like in CNG and LPG based car, there might be probably some accident also happen, right? So such kind of threats are also there. Psychological fear also, like in a space tourism there is a psychological fear or negative emotions also, right? Whether you could come back on the earth or not, right? Whether you will be lost in the space, what happens, right? Social, how other may think and react. That is also become very, very important in a socialist countries like India and Nepal, right? What others will tell about us, right? And sensory, matlab, unwanted impact on any five senses. In a space tourism that happened, right? Because you feel totally unusual when you go to the space. So in any given service, it is happening, right? So these are the five dimensions of service quality: tangibility, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy, right? And when we are talking about the service marketing, we are referring three more P's. Generally in marketing, we have a 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, promotion. Place matlab distribution, right? How we distribute the products. But when we are talking services, there is a role of people also, processes also, and the physical evidences also. And there are 4 types of services: people processing services, possession processing services, mental stimulus processing services, and information processing services. So people processing services are those services where people are the part of a process. Say you go to any school for education or go to college. So your entire body is a part of a process, right? You go to cut your hair, right, to a salon, right? Then when you go to the hair cutting salon, you are under the process, right? Say you pass through any surgery, a medical surgery, right? A bypass surgery or any kind of a surgery, and you admitted in a hospital, or some operation or surgery is done on your body. So it is called a people processing services, because people are the part of a process. Then possession processing services, when you pass the possession of your belongings or your property. Say your TV you give for a repairing, or a mobile phone you give for a repairing, right? So repairing services is a possession processing service. Rental services also, like you hire a car on a rent, or you hire a clothes on a rent, or you hire a hotel room on a rent. So that is called a possession processing services. Then mental stimulus processing services, when you mold the mind of a people, or you shaped the behavior of a people, like coaching, education, training, psychiatrist, right? These are all mental stimulus processing services. Like whatever the sessions we are doing right now, it is also a mental stimulus processing services, right? And then information processing services like newspapers, Google, search engines, right? What they do, news channels, right? These are all information processing services, or what nowadays we say content marketing. So how you get the content and organize and produce the content in a way the people like. So data processing and data mining and all data warehousing and all such services are information processing services, right? Marketing research is also information processing services. So can you think some of the examples of a service provider? In Nepal, who is the best service provider? Any company or any kind of organization? If you could recall, then fine. Otherwise, I will give you 2 examples, like in the form of a quiz. Do you know this service company initially sold and rented DVD by mail, introducing a video on demand via internet first time in the world in 1955, and nowadays available in over 190 countries. What is the name of this company or service provider? These are the 3 clues I am giving, right?
Netflix.
Exactly. Who said? Yeah, name. Somebody said.
Kishore.
Huh?
Kishore.
Kishore, sir. It's 100% true. Netflix, right? But Netflix is presently facing some problem. What is the problem of Netflix they are facing right now?
The consumers are swaying.
Yeah, their subscribers are decreasing day by day, and that's why their stock prices is also going down, right? So they are in a serious problem. Netflix, right? So Netflix is a services. You could imagine that a 2 entrepreneur giving the video cassettes on a rent, right? Because earlier we have a VCR and all kind of home appliances and the players, right? So they were simply giving the video cassettes on a rent, right? It's like a video library, cassettes library, and then from cassettes library to Netflix, right? Is a very long journey. Not in terms of the years, because it was from 1995 to 2022. So in a very less time, it becomes a very giant content company. And nowadays, they operate in 190 countries with the original local language content. Like say in India, they have a lot of original Hindi content also. In a Korea, they have a Korean content, right? Likewise, in a different countries, they have their original content in the region language or the local language of that particular country, and that is not a joke. It's very difficult, right? Very difficult. And then also doing a cross selling also, like Korean content selling in India or Indian content selling in Taiwan and Taiwan content selling in America or something like that, which is not very easy, right? Which is not very easy. Okay, this is regarding one Nepal company, and it is very easy to you for answer. A company aims to make artificial intelligence technology accessible to undeserved communities around the world by providing artificial intelligence education program. Founded in 2013 by Samir Maxey.
Okay.
What is the name of this company?
Amir Maske.
Machine.
Huh?
Fuse machine.
Yeah, exactly. Fuse Machine is the company, right? So, like we say Nepal. So Nepal, what is identity of Nepal? So one of the identity of a Nepal is a fuse machine also. Like somebody start the enterprise in the artificial intelligence, which is talk of the town everywhere, right? And artificial intelligence, in fact, like in Saudi Arabia also, they are investing a lot of money in artificial intelligence. Why? Because the oil base and petrol base and crude oil and everything is going to disappear, right? And then what happened? That's why Sophia the robot, right? They gave the citizenship to the Sophia, and they heavily invested in the artificial intelligence. And I am very happy to know about Samir from Nepal, who runs such kind of a company, right, for the community development and focusing on artificial intelligence. Because if we talk about a Nepal not good in a film industry, not good in a IT, not good in pharmaceutical manufacturing like India, not good in electronics manufacturing like a China, right? So when we talk about a Nepal and when we talk about the quality of Nepal as a country, then which are the sectors and which are the core competence of Nepal we could present to the world, right? So that one has to find out. So now the last part of the presentation, that is a managerial implication of this particular presentation. Service quality in the era of experiential economy, right? That was our topic, and we try to understand what is experiential economy and how it is connected to the service quality, right? So to generate the best possible service quality in all four dimensions: manufacturing, customer psychology, right, value concept, right, in all four dimensions, in all four types of services, how this particular session helpful to the Nepal, right? So I took a small case study, and it can generate a lot of insight also for us. So the question is, why is Nepal a popular tourist destination? Nepal is also a popular reasonably a popular tourist destination among the other countries. Why Nepal is the popular tourist destination? Any answer? Because you are from Nepal, many of you, so you may be able to answer.
So Nepal is the uniqueness of the profile, from unique
Physical
geographical profile, from tropical to alpine to polar. You will find within the travel duration of 3 to 6 hours. So that is that diversity of profile is the uniqueness.
Okay.
And the diversity of culture, ethnicity.
Yeah. So Nepal is unsurpassed at the sheer just a minute. Yes, sir, rightly said, a sheer diversity of Nepal, right? Goes from a steamy jungle and terrain to the icy peaks of the world's highest mountains means that there are around 10 top highest mountains available in Nepal, right? And spectacular scenery are just three things Nepal is famous for. So rafting, mountaineering, trekking. Tourism is one of the mainstay of Nepal economy. It is also a major source of foreign exchange and revenue, possessing 8 out of 10 highest mountains in the world. And that is not a small things, right? 8 out of 10 in the world. And Nepal is the hotspot destination for mountaineers, rock climber, and people seeking adventures. But then what is the competitiveness of Nepal as a tourist place? You could see World Economic Forum has claimed Nepal is a poor in terms of its travel and tourism competitiveness. Nepal recorded a total of 230,000 tourists in 2020, ranking 154th in the world in the absolute term. The Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Index 2019 puts Nepal in the 102nd position among 140 countries, including in the index. Nepal scored 3.3 points, and in this index, Spain is the #1 country in the world. So Nepal's closest neighbor, China and India, are much ahead of Nepal in the ranking, respectively, in the 13th and 34th position among the SAARC countries. So that is South Asia's countries, and Sri Lanka is also ahead of Nepal in this index, right? So it means, so far as the Nepal as a tourist destination is concerned, having a very far behind position, right? So how this particular idea of a service quality in the experiential economy help us? So there are 3 tools, and Vijay must be knowing. One tool is called a fishbone diagram, where cause and effect diagram to identify the potential causes of a problem. So why Nepal is so poor, not as a favorite destination for a tourist all over the world, right? So we have to find out the reason or causes of a problem, right? The problem is the rank of Nepal is very poor, right? So far as the competitiveness of the tourist place is concerned, Nepal. Then one is a Pareto chart, that is separating the trivial from the important. Often majority of the problems are caused by the minority of the. So there are some very minor causes, right? Which we will see here also. What are the problems of Nepal as a tourist place? And you could also tell us that which are the small problems. Like one of the problem I was reading, the communication, right? The communication network is very poor. Another problem I was seeing, the kind of hotel service, right? Hotels and restaurant is not up to the mark, and that's why people face a problem in lodging and boarding, right? That could also be one of the problems. Then blueprinting. So blueprinting is visualization of a service delivery, identifying the points where failure are most likely to occur. So when the tourists come to the Nepal, and then we try to visualize like what are the problems faced by them, and why they are not satisfied, or why they don't spread the positive word of mouth when they go back to their country and send more number of tourists to the Nepal. So feedback system is very important. So these are the 5 major problems, right, regarding the tourist industry of Nepal. That is lack of transportation facility, even the public transport also within cities like Kathmandu and the other places. Lack of hostel, lodging, restaurants. The another major issues is the pollution also, because of nowadays the sustainable development concept and preservation of environment and all. If more number of tourists will come, it generates a lot of population or pollution also. But here we are talking of pollution also, and lack of security also. That is a little disadvantageous point, which could emerge in some of the research. And backwardness in the modernization. So still we don't have a modern state of the art infrastructure, always road and the connectivity and the communication infrastructure. right? And that's why the rank of Nepal would be probably poor. So this is one data I got. Most tourists arriving to Nepal on short-term basis were from following countries of nationality. So you could see this, like people are coming. It's not like tourists are not coming to Nepal, but they come for a very short period only, right? Like even if you go to Kashmir, then at least the person spend 8 days. So one day go to the Gulmarg, one day go to Sonmarg, one day go to Pahalgaon, right? So at least person spend 7 to 8 days in the Kashmir. If you come to this Char Dham matlab Gangotri, Jamnotri, and Kedarnath and Badrinath, same kind of a place is what you have in Nepal. So that is a 10 days tour, right? So if anybody started from Haridwar, then Rishikesh to this 4 pilgrimage, then it take 10 days. So at least a person, stay there for 10 days, right? So in a Nepal, people are coming, but then they stay for a very short time. And most of the tourists are coming from nearby Asian countries only. Nepal, failed to attract the tourists from the developed countries, European countries, and then from America or such kind of countries, right? So you could see here, most of the tourists are from India, right? Most of the tourists are from India and Sri Lanka and nearby countries. So we at Nepal failed to attract the tourists from the developed countries, and then we have to find out the reason, right? For that, we have to find out the reason for that, and we have to have a strategy, a specific strategy regarding a perceived risk of the tourists of a different countries, like if why Americans are not coming to Nepal, or why people from Canada are not coming to Nepal, right? And what are their perceived risks? So we have to study their perceived risks, right? And we can manage their service quality, perceived service quality, like what they expect from Nepal. So if we could do that, we can attract more number of tourists at Nepal. Like you see, the even this thing is also volatile. If you want, DJ will study, he can give the some insight, right? Like from 2008 to 2019, if we see the number of international tourists arrived to the Nepal and change from the previous year, you could see the lot of volatility because of one or other reason. But then some of the year when it was the growth was minus, right? Like in 2017 and 18, you could see 24%. In 2019, it is okay because of pandemic, right? Because of the corona and everything, the growth decreased in almost all other countries, in developed countries also. But if you even see, because the data was available before 2008 also. So before 2008 also, I could see some of the year where the growth rate was in a minus, right? Like compared to the previous year, the less number of tourists arrived at Nepal, right? So the growth rate is not in an increasing mode, right? Many times it goes down and then it increases. So a lot of dynamism is there, and then one has to find out the reason, right? And can we manage those reasons, right? That we can think about. So you tell me how to improve the service quality to generate the experience of tourists coming to Nepal and attract more number of tourists to Nepal. This is my final question, and I think it is a relevant question also, because the people from Nepal must be interested to give the answer, because it is up to ultimately call to you, right? And then there is a service marketing implication also, like whatever we learn in terms of service quality and creating an experiential economy, at least in terms of the tourism, right? Like what kind of a experience we can deliver and generate in the tourism in Nepal. So any one of you can in a long run create a case study also, right? And write a case study also, or maybe do some research in this domain, right? And then find out the more insight that how we can help the tourism department, right? So one or how to develop Nepal as a brand, right? A tourist brand. So, and then what kind of a promise we can give to the potential tourist coming to the Nepal or thinking to come to Nepal. For Indian, see, for Indian, why they come to Nepal? For a Pasupatinath, right? There is the religious reason. But most of us, we don't know that Nepal is also famous other than Pasupatinath also, right? Like nobody knows that there are 8 highest peak mountain out of 10 in the world is in Nepal. So nobody knows. So nobody knows that you find the same kind of experience what you could see in a Uttarakhand, right? Or in a Himalaya. Same experience you get in Nepal also, right? Most of us, the Indians don't know. For Indians, Nepal means temple. Because our movies also, whenever Nepal is shown in the movies, they show only this temple, whether it is old movies like Devanand, right? Shoot one songs at Nepal, or there was a movie Mahan from Amitabh Bachchan. So one song, the entire song was uh, shooted at Nepal, but then they show only temples, right? So for us, the design of this temple is Nepal. So after this many years, also we could not manage the perceived definition of Nepal in the mind of the next door neighbor country, India, right? So that's why there is more to do in terms of experiential economy. Like when the world is talking about experiential economy, then if Nepal can talk about artificial intelligence, why not Nepal as a tourist destination, right? So identify hard and soft part of a services, right? What Nepal can provide as a tourist destination. Focus on a main tourist attraction with a state-of-the-art infrastructure. And in India, the present government is doing that. They are recently they are constructing the road from Amritsar to Jammu, right? Particularly at the Vaishnav Devi temple. So from Delhi to Vaishnav Devi also, there's a Katra. There is a place called Katra. So Katra is full of mountains, and then there is a Vaishnav Devi. So to increase the accessibility from Punjab and from Delhi to Katra, they have a 6-lane road, right? And there is a construction of a tunnel also in between Jammu and Srinagar. So if you go by national highway from Jammu to Srinagar, because of the Jawaharlal tunnel, the 2 hours time is saved because of that tunnel. It take more than 10 years to build that tunnel, right? And that attract more number of tourists, because instead of 8 hours, now you will reach in 5 hours, and so infrastructure will definitely help, right, to develop the tourism. Even here, there is in our Gujarat, there is a one place called Somnath, which is also again a pilgrimage place, right? So now we are heavily connecting the Somnath with all the other big cities of Gujarat with 6-lane road, right? So earlier, if it took 10 hours to reach from Surat to Somnath, when that road will be completely operational, it take only 6 hours to reach at Somnath. So you will attract more number of tourists, right? Train the people in tourism industry, because that is also become very, very important, right? Because you required a lot of training to the people, because tourism is a people processing service. Because while the tour, the people are part of a service, right? People are part of a service. So for so many days, when the tourist moving in the Nepal, they experienced it, right? And a lot of people play a very important role to generate the experience in the mind of a people. When somebody visited Nepal as a tourist, study the perceived risk of the tourist, right? That is also need to be done, and manage the perceived quality, right? So we must know Nepal from tourist perspective in a different countries. So for them, what is Nepal, right? And they may be knowing from their subjective limited information, but then we have to provide a lot of information to them. That Nepal doesn't mean whatever their myopic and restricted view, and create more attraction for tourists to provide them a moment of truth experience in Nepal. Because you see, mountains are there, but you have to make efforts to create that mountains into hill station. So hill station will not be, made automatically. One has to go and develop some services, right? Then only mountain becomes a hill station. So so many services we have to develop also, like some cultural programs and the nightlife culture, or a food street or something like that, right? So many things one has to develop. So this is some idea whatever I could write or come in my mind, I note down here. But you all are living in Nepal, so you can think much more than me, right? And probably you may be knowing more and having more insight in terms of this. And this is one example only, like service quality for a tourism sector. Likewise, we can think in many sectors, right? When Nepal is delivering the services, right? By using many tools available in the service marketing as a discipline, and experiential economy as in our aspiration or the aim, right? And we can think about a lot of ideas, because I think quality is also depending on idea. You keep on generating the ideas and quality will improve. So lastly, let me tell you, quality is never an accident. It is always the result of our intelligent efforts. So whatever field we want to improve the quality at Nepal and productivity at Nepal, we can think about that. We can identify the problems and causes behind our performance, and then can think that how we can improve in that particular process. So here we talk about experiential economy and the role of service quality in experiential economy. And then we could take one of the case study also from Nepal as a tourism sector. I could not provide more number of insight and data, but as an example, I took this as a small caselet kind of things, which we can replicate in the other areas or sectors also of Nepal, right? So thank you very much for sparing your valuable time for this particular sharing, and I'm thankful to the participants also for participating and giving the answers also and make it interactive. So thank you to Bijay, thank you to the entire team, and over to the coordinator.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Raju, for the wonderful presentation. I really enjoyed your presentation, and I feel like everybody also did too.
Thank you.
Now the floor is open for discussion, and I would like our dear participants to ask questions to Professor Dr. Raju Rathod.
Well, doctor, I didn't have the question to ask, but I
Yeah,
have a few things to tell.
yeah, please.
The first of all, thank you very much, for giving this presentation in simple manner, but with of high magnitude, high effect, and that has really magnified my insight. Like the 7 P's, what you have explained. We are used to 4 P's, now the 7 P's: people's, process, and physical evidence. These are the marvelous thing which we have to, make it an experience, the product plus experience. Now, regarding the tourism of Nepal, Nepal doesn't want the backpackers. Nepal want the niche segment, but the niche segment is very, very, very few. We need more tourists who don't demand luxury, but they are for good type of food and spending fortune in the beverage, like the tourists from UP and Bihar. We want tourists like that, but of the some civic with some civic manner. The potentiality of Indian tourist is more high. That adds value in the economy. We do not want more Western. They are very major. They don't spend much. We want the tourists who spend much, and that percolates down the line to the village, to the community, like this. Yeah, you have really, given us the guidelines. The air connectivity is poor, so we are going for air connectivity. The comfort, care, and safety. The infrastructure is lacking. Now the private sector is investing fortune in developing the infrastructure, which the government has to do. On the contrary, the private sector is doing that. They are developing new tourist destination.
Yes.
Yeah. So God has given us good natural infrastructure, good climate, but the artificial intelligence, we have to create the infrastructure also, the road connectivity, all these things.
Yes.
And so that this experiential economy, now I got the sense. The end result is this. Getting the product only is not sufficient. I got another my life when, as a student, as a grown-up guy, I used to shave by the blade, But when this Gillette thing came, that made my life more easy. That was the product with experience, that gave me more, flexible saving, and that prevented the scratch and injury to the face. So like this, experiential, selling is the rule of the game. Yeah, this I've understood. Thank you, Dr. Raju, for explaining all these things with very simplicity.
Thank you very much.
And we expect more such topic from you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So is there anyone else who wants to ask questions? Please give your queries. You can use the chat also, or you can speak up.
I have one query. This is not query, just suggestion. That in the 5 points, one more point may be there, for the quality enhancement of the tourism. You have listed with the 5 points. One more points should be there. I think that may be the advertisement or something while teaching the quality. Sometimes we used to say the confused marketing. Confused marketing. That may be a point for the making advertisement also. And one way what should we do as a people of Nepal quality tourism in your view?
Sorry, Vijay sir, ISP experience. ISP experience is poor. You know, we are hearing in the echo and the broken voice, or audio is not clear audio.
Yeah, Professor Raju, have you got my points?
As sir told, there were some problems in the audio. If you could repeat the point.
Yeah, as a people of Nepal, not at the government level or policy level, for the people of Nepal, what should they do for upliftment of the quality tourism? Have you got my point?
Yeah, as in the session we already discussed some of the tools of the service quality improvement, right? That fish pond and then feedback system as a part of the improving the quality.
You mean to
And
say that these tools we have to apply to identify?
the three tools as we have discussed this now. One is a Pareto principle, where which are the small things which actually become a big blocks, which we could very easily do, right? Another, that cause and effect chart, right? Here we could not discuss the every part of that chart. So there is a detailed chart, that fishbone chart, where on one side we discuss a cause and then probably the effect. And the last one was that feedback system, right? So the feedback system is become very important, and nowadays the review through the social media and also become very important. So if we can develop some system where when people, because recently one of my PhD students, she worked on tourism through a social media. So because there were three things before coming to visit a particular place, people used to share in the social media. While going to that tourist place, people are sharing the videos and everything. And in a post tourism also, they share the videos, reviews and everything. So if we could see their reviews and everything, I think we can get more insight. So we can use the social media as one of the source of information also, as well as to get the visibility of Nepal also, right? If some deliberate efforts can be done. I think Vijay's got problem technically.
I'd also like to say something.
Yeah, madam.
Our government back in 2019, I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
They wanted to start this Visit Nepal 2020. It was supposed to happen around that time, but it could not happen properly due to the coronavirus. That was supposed to boost the tourism industry here. And if anybody is not having any queries, any questions, any things to say, I would like to ask Dr. Vijay for certificate distribution and vote of thanks.
Thank you very much for this program. And first of all, I'd like to thank Professor Raju Rathod for and despite of his busy schedule, he has spent his time to in point. He has asked the many queries, many points he has stated. So I would like to thank Professor Kishore Bhakta Mathema sir. Similarly, I would like to thank Envira Pradhan for Cody's certificate of appreciation to Professor Raju Rathod. So I would like to read out it. Network for Quality, Productivity and Competitiveness, Nepal. Certificate of appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to Professor Dr. Raju M. Rathod for sharing his knowledge on service quality in the area of experiential economy. Our organization, the NPCN Network for Quality, and I would like to thank NREN for technical support of this program. And this certificate is signed by myself, Dr. Vijay Lal Pradhan, coordinator. We are learning and sharing the information. At last, I would like to thank all for taking part of this program, and I would like to conclude today's program. Thank you all. Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we'll meet in similar type of program in the days to come. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye. Bye.